All right, thanks, Joey. Time now for a check of your top stories. And waiters and waitresses in the restaurant industry in Puerto Rico are demanding a fair wage in a protest outside the Capitol building in San Juan. They're claiming better salaries and wages and a justice treat. Now, our Francis Felix joins us now with the story.
The group Justicia Salarial Salary Equity calls on servers and tip workers to a manifestation and stop work during Valentine's Day that seeks the end of the minimum wage of $2.13 per hour.
One fair wage movement is a movement that exists in the United States, and we are trying to promote that in Puerto Rico. We are doing that through the introduction of Senate Bill 754, which seeks to eliminate what we call the sub-minimum wage. Waiters in Puerto Rico can receive a pay as low as $2.13 an hour, and they are supposed to complete the rest of the money that they need to get the minimum wage of $8.50 in Puerto Rico through tips. We know that that doesn't happen many times. Employers are supposed to pay the difference if workers through the tips cannot get to the minimum wage, but we know that doesn't always happen. The sub-minimum wage is also a source of uncertainty. Workers don't really know how much their paycheck is going to be. It will fluctuate according to the season, according to the time in which they are working, and so on. And furthermore, the sub-minimum wage is a source of discrimination. That is to say, clients can change the tips that they give, determine the tips that they give people, depending on many factors besides the service that they give. You know, their appearance, their race, their gender, you know, their whatever reason. All sorts of forms of discrimination can be part of the determination of what type of tip a person gets. And finally, it makes people more vulnerable, particularly women, but not only women, makes them more vulnerable to harassment by clients. You know, that they are always in the situation in which when they are confronted with some sort of harassment, they have two choices. They can either denounce that and confront that, in which case they can say goodbye to the tip, which they need, or in order to get the tip that they need, they have to accept, you know, and yield to this type of harassment, which is an inhuman treatment. We shouldn't go for that.
This movement have the probability to become reality here in Puerto Rico?
Well, I think there are many waiters and waitresses in Puerto Rico who sympathize with the movement, who sympathize with our goal. The problem is, as I said, most of these workers are in a very, very vulnerable situation. In Puerto Rico, a job is something very hard to come by. People are very afraid, understandably so, of losing their job. And if they were to come, for example, to this picket, they could probably face some sort of reprisal.
This event did not have the turnout expected due to possible sanctions of employers who own restaurants and the little communication about this event. But the leaders of Justicia Salarial expressed that they will continue to bring their claims and participate of public hearings about the measures presented. From San Juan, Puerto Rico, Francis Felix.